See, it's a bit hazy right now, but it is definitely a choppy day out here for racing. 3 to 4 foot seas are being called for once again by the Coast Guard. So here's Tommy Masada's pace boat bringing all the contestants out to the milling area. Quite the flotilla right there in the picture. 40 boats coming out here to race off Freeport, New York. We're going to the milling area, but apparently it was the incorrect milling area. So Masada once again gets the boats on plane where they head out to the proper milling area. And from there, we will be going with a start. We'll be beginning with the M, D, P, and C start will be the first start, and the other classes will follow after that. But we will be staying with M, D, P, and C from the start. There you have Extractor in your picture, right on the outside of Tommy Masada's boat. Excuse me, that's Mad Mac on the outside there. Should have some very good racing. Lethal Weapon, a very tough competitor. He's been having a good year. Pipeline Express also enjoying a successful campaign. Finish Line having some very good results so far throughout 89. Recovery, another good team, enjoying a very successful 89. Here you see Masada bringing the boats into the correct milling area. Tommy Masada has done such a great job all weekend. We've had the wet pits in the Woodcliff Canal, which is right behind his restaurant, Michael's Restaurant, a beautiful restaurant here in Freeport, New York, and he's done a great job in helping everyone out and just being a real good sport as the host for today's race. So I would like to thank him right at the go. Tommy Masada of Freeport, New York, and Michael's Restaurant, a great host here. And of course, who could forget Jim Ross's Liberty Marine right across the street, who's also done a great job in helping the entire association here to help make the Freeport Grand Prix a great success. There you have looking down on Ocean Outboard, P75, Tony Caligari's team, a tough boat. Now Masada's getting them out on plane. Pace boats out. We're starting to come out of the blocks, and in just moments the green flag will be dropping. There you see the yellow flag raised, and in just moments we will be racing. The 1989 Freeport Grand Prix is about to get underway. And we're starting to go with it now. Right there in the center of your picture is Extractor. Predator is there. Finish Line. Lethal Weapon busting out. What a great start this is going to be. We've got the green flag and they're off. 40 boats off and racing. Right there in the center of your picture, you've got Extractor. On the outside of him, that's Predator, and Lethal Weapon is in the picture. Clean start. Jim Lausnowski's Extractor race team, crowd favorite here in the Long Island waters. Predator and Lethal Weapon taking a slight lead. Lethal Weapon on the outside, Predator on the inside. 80 miles of racing have just begun in one of the toughest courses in the Northeast here at Freeport. A great race course, some tough conditions, and it always provides some very exciting racing, and we're real excited about being here for the start. Right now we're on Lethal Weapon race team, D44. This sleek, all-red, 41-foot Apache is powered by twin 750 horsepower Rogers inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned and driven by Lester Carrillo of Sparta, New Jersey. His navigator today is Donald Purley, and Bill Martin is your throttle man. And there you see Bill doing a great job on those throttles. And on the very far outside and slightly ahead of Lethal Weapon, that's Ocean Outboard. Lethal Weapon has been enjoying a very good 89 campaign. They've taken a second in Newburyport and a second in Point Pleasant already. So they are in the thick of the points race in the exciting D class here. D44, Lethal Weapon, headed up by Lester Carrillo. Lethal Weapon enjoying a very good run here at Freeport. Bill Martin doing a tremendous job on the throttles, and Carrillo's doing a fine job piloting this boat. Pearlie will have his work cut out for him, keeping this boat on course throughout the course of the day. But Martin and Carrillo really doing the job in Lethal Weapon. Presently at the time, they're unofficially running in second place and sounding very strong. This Apache is going to be a tough boat to catch today. From Freeport, New York, it's the Lethal Weapon race team. Now we come up on the Pipeline Express race team, C41. This 30-foot Shadow Cat is powered by twin 500 horsepower Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned and driven by Bob Shug of Lavallette, New Jersey. Dave Koch is his navigator, and Rich Dancision is on throttles. C41 Pipeline has had a pretty good year, I would say. They've taken a first place in Newport and a first place in Point Pleasant already this year, so they are a good boat and at the top of the ladder in C-Class. And slightly ahead of Pipeline, we've got Lethal Weapon, and ahead of Lethal Weapon is Predator Race Team. So right there in your picture, you've got the Spectator fleet, a big one here already at Freeport. You've got Predator, Lethal Weapon, and Pipeline Express. You get a good idea there of just how rough it is here today. Quite a bit of chop out here in Freeport. And as they're rounding one of the checkpoint boats, heading toward their next coordinate, Pipeline Express is enjoying a very good run so far. As you can see from this picture, some of the race boats seem to be going off course slightly. As we alluded to earlier on, it's going to be a tough day with a rough seas and a slight hazing condition here on the race course, as you can see in the horizon. The navigator's really going to have his work cut out for him today. It's going to be a tough race all the way around. Pipeline Express coming back into the fold and taking up the challenge with Lethal Weapon and Predator. Really getting a ride right there, as you can see. Rich Dancision on throttles, a lot of race experience there, doing once again an excellent job here today. From Freeport, New York, it's the Pipeline Express race team. Dancision, a master at that throttle. And as it was earlier on, Lethal Weapon and Predator still ahead of Pipeline Express. Now we come up on C5, Benzel-Busch's Finish Line Race Team. This sleek 30-foot Chris craft is powered by twin 500 horsepower Bandit Racing motors. This boat is co-owned by Jimmy Della Terza and Joe Calabro. Joe Calabro on throttles of this boat, and driving today is Joe Gertaza. The Finish Line Race Team, what a great 89 they've enjoyed so far. Just recently they took a first place in Rochester in class as well as first overall and a second in Point Pleasant. So in C-Class, Finish Line is certainly a boat to be reckoned here with in the 1989 campaign. People sharing in dual sponsorship for the Finish Line Race Team, but before that you have Recovery on the outside. A great looking boat right there, the Recovery Race Team. But back to Finish Line. Co-sponsorship shared by Essex Locksmith, Gaccioni, radios by Motorola, Do-It Auto Parts, and of course, Benzel-Busch's Mercedes. The Finish Line Race Team having a great day here today in Freeport. Pipeline, who you saw earlier on, will be dueling all day with Finish Line. It's very tough in the C-Class here today. And Recovery on the outside of Finish Line, hanging tough right here. Excellent ride right here at this stage in the race, the Finish Line Race Team. A little earlier on, Joey Imprescia of East Coast Marine had a chance to speak with the Finish Line Race Team.
Now we're here with Finish Line Race Team at the Freeport Grand Prix, and we got Joey Calabro, Joey, and Steve Stan. What's going to go on out there today? I understand you got a new boat on hand.
Yeah, we have a new Chris Cat rigged with canopies. I just heard a weather report. It's supposed to be big water out there, so we feel safe in the boat. I think we'll do pretty good today.
You guys have always run very well in the V-bottom, and now that you moved into a Cat, you've got some canopies. How do you feel about the boat? Does the canopies give you a little bit more safety advantage? And does it make the driver and throttle more aggressive? What's your point of view on that?
Oh, that was a problem. They say you get too much false sense of security. But I keep my mind off that. I know I can still get hurt in that boat, and I try to take it easy, when I have to. But yeah, I do feel safer, absolutely. I really do.
Well, good. I wish you guys the best of luck in the freeze frame video and the oldie races out here. Hope we have a good show on.
Thank you.
Okay.
Finish Line definitely will have its hands full today with Pipeline Express, Bustin' Out, and Harrah's 777, the Finish Line Race Team. Now we come up on C46, Bustin' Out. This 30-foot Chris craft is powered by twin 500 horsepower Pro Marine Racing motors. This boat is sponsored by RC Motors and Pro Marine and One Special Evening. What a great looking boat this is. This boat is owned and driven by Joe San Giovanni of Brick, New Jersey. Ralph Papke is on throttles from Brick, New Jersey, and from Toms River, New Jersey, it's Ron Clune. Jim Creel is your head crew member, also from the Toms River, New Jersey. Big ride right there. You saw him take that jump and come right down with it. It is a very rough race conditions here today, as you can see, and some of these guys are really moving. It was interesting the way Finish Line and Joey and Pressure alluded to the false sense of reality you get when you are tucked in those racing capsules. But right here, this is an open boat, so these guys are definitely feeling the brunt of the weather conditions right now and how fast they are going. Very interesting concept there that our expert commentator, Joey Marine, alluded to earlier on. Right there we get a close-up view of the Bustin' Out team, and they seem to be a little confused at this point in time. I'm not sure if they're waving to us or pointing at us, perhaps trying to point them in the right direction for the race course. Bustin' Out race team, we certainly hope they get online, and they seem to be doing a fine job right now. And of course the combination of Joe Sangiovanni and the Pro Marine and RC Motors has done a great job. Pro Marine and RC Motors have really helped out this crew to be enjoying a very successful '89 campaign. The Bustin' Out race team from Freeport, New York. Now we come up on the recovery race team. This is Stuart Hames' boat, and what a great boat it is. This is a 32-foot skater powered by twin Keith Eichert Lightning motors. This boat is driven by Stuart Hames, and on throttles today from East Coast Marine, we've got Joey and Pressure. What a combination of racing aggressiveness and experience we have in this boat. Joey and Pressure from East Coast Marine, so many years on the circuit and has been enjoying great success on the national level right now for '89. He's on fire. And Stuart Hames has a very strong boat here. Hames is the defending 1988 Open Class champion, and they've got a good-looking boat right here. Look at the run they're enjoying right now. Garrett and Grakeham, along with Sandy Shinneman, help make up the entire crew of the recovery race team. Stuart is usually seen running the APBA circuit, where a boat of his length with big blocks can compete. He's running here today as a local boat, and he's certainly enjoying a very strong run right now. He's dueling with Phoenix and Mad Mac in that special class that they've designated here today. Stuart Haim of Recovery Race Team donates all proceeds to the American Cancer Society that he picks up along the way in the offshore circuit. Great competitor, real gentleman, Stuart Haim's Recovery Race Team. With the way they're running here today at Freeport, they certainly look to add to the string of victories that the Recovery Race Team has been enjoying so far through the '89 campaign. From Freeport, New York, it's Joey Imprescia and Stuart Haim in the Recovery Race Team. We've just witnessed a very strong run by the Recovery Race Team. Very strong sounding boat. With all the maintenance that's been done at Joe Imprescia's East Coast Marine, this boat is right now in tip-top form, and Haim and Imprescia are making this boat do what it does best. Now we come up on another strong competitor, B1, Fever Race Team. This all-yellow 28-foot Manta is powered by two Zool racing motors. They've enjoyed so many years of great racing, the Fever Race Team. This boat is owned and driven by Joe Scrow. On throttles, you've got Joe Latona, and Jim McElhatton is your navigator. Joe Russo, Richie Zool, and Kevin, who is better known as the Hammer, help comprise the Fever Race crew. Fever has also been enjoying the success throughout '89. They've had a second in Newburyport and a first in Rochester, and presently they're running in first place in their class, dueling with Hustler and Kamikaze in the B class. And they're wearing that one for one very good reason, that they are the champs. They're the '88 defending world champions and divisional champs, the Fever Race Team. All from the New York area, so almost local waters for them. Not exactly, but they're very close to these waters, and they are used to running here in Freeport. Those Zool motors are sounding very strong, as you can hear. Very competitive run right here by Fever Race Team, a true champion. A little earlier on, Joey Imprescia of East Coast Marine had a chance to speak with the Fever Race Team.
1989 Freeport Grand Prix. In Freeport, Long Island, New York, we have the Fever Boys here from the Fever Race Team. Probably one of the most potent boats in the B-class racing in today's APBA races. Joe, what's going to happen today?
Well, the way I figured, it should be a little bit rough, so we're gonna stay with the pack and see if there's a time that we can make a move, we're gonna make a move. But other than that, we're gonna stay with them.
What kind of competition you got today?
Basically Alliance, Shockwave, Hustler, B-52. There's a couple of real fast boats in the class. But after the last win, we feel that we have most of them covered, providing the water isn't too rough.
The Fever Boys with the leading edge out there in the APBA circuit running B class. Thanks very much. Good luck out there.
Fever race team is presently running in first in class at this point in time. Now we come up on an A boat. It's A12 MRD race team. This 27-foot Carrara is powered by 2 Mercury motors. This boat is owned by Robert Cardinal, commonly referred to as RC, who's doing the driving and throttling, and Frank Cardinal, who is RC's cousin, is your navigator today. The MRD race team. They've taken a second in Newburyport and a third in Point Pleasant already in 1989. So a good finish here, perhaps a first, would really help them in the points battle in A class. They're dueling with Second to None and Corvette Plus in that class. MRD having a good ride right now. It's tough on these A-class boats in these rough seas. Very rough running for them. MRD, it stands for Marine Research Development, and MRD is a high-performance rigger out on Long Island. And they're responsible, obviously, for rigging the MRD race boat right here, and it is certainly performing up to expectations. From Freeport, New York, it's Robert Cardinal's MRD race team. On the outside of MRD, that's Pipeline going by. We've also got Finish Line running with Pipeline just going by there. That's Finish Line in your picture. On the very far outside of MRD. Obviously different classes, so certainly not a problem. And there is Predator coming into the picture. Predator, Pipeline, and Finish Line definitely in a pack of boats that are in the hunt. They're hunting each other right down right now and having a very good competitive race. Pipeline, Finish Line, Predator. Now we come up on Yes Express, B25. This 32-foot Cobra is powered by twin 550 horsepower Chevy inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned by Rich Latta, who is doing the throttles. Stuart Smith is your driver, and Timmy Moots is your navigator. Earlier on, you saw the tough competition that Yes Express is fighting against, and that was B1, the Fever race team, who was on fire. But Yes Express seems to be looking very good right here. This 32-foot Cobra is a sleek-looking race hull. It has the Merc Cruiser power plants, the Chevy power plants, I should say, with the Merc Cruiser drives, and they're running very well right now. Rich Latta's Yes Express. They'd certainly like to have a finish here today at Freeport. They have not been in the money throughout '89, but they have been running fairly consistently, and they certainly hope to pick up on their performance here today in Freeport. B25, the Yes Express race team. Yes Express is in one of our most competitive classes, B class, very tough. With Fever, who we mentioned earlier on, Alliance, Shockwave, B-Way, Hustler, American Dream, Kamikaze, B-52, just to name a few. It is very competitive racing in the B division, but nonetheless, we wish all the best to Yes Express. Now we come up on D19, the American Express race team. This is a 30-foot Chris craft powered by two Chevrolet Offshore motors with 650 horsepower apiece. What can we say? The American Express race team for 1989 has enjoyed a perfect circuit. They took a first at Newburyport, a first at Point Pleasant, and a first at Rochester. That's 3 for 3, batting 1,000, and they certainly look to repeat here today. As you can see, the American Express race team is running very, very strong. This boat is owned and throttled by Jimmy Cesani, and Lanny Dellinger is his driver. Cesani and Dellinger making up the American Express race team. What a great year they've enjoyed. 3 first places. They've got a lock on first place in D-Class. And D-Class, as in B, is one of the more competitive racing divisions we have here. Besides them, you've got Lethal Weapon, Boat Chopper, Predator, Eliminator, ATEX Special, Riva Photo, WD Marine, Wildfire, and it's a very tough class, very competitive. But right now, American Express seems to be the boat that has emerged as the true champion so far in this class. A lot of these guys in class are gunning for him today. They certainly are the boat to be beaten in D-Class, so we'll have to wait and see how this race unfolds for American Express and the rest of D-Class. WD Marine, Boat Chopper, Equalizer are all in the hunt right now with the hard-charging American Express race team. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if American Express can keep its string of victories alive, or will they be dethroned here today in Freeport, New York. The American Express race team. American Express enjoying a very fine ride today. And part of the reason for their success is the crew, headed up by the chief, Carl Windsor, Rob Vadalato, Tom Stevens, Ray Regnier, and Chris Windsor have done a great job in preparing this boat, the American Express race team. Now we come up on M66, Special Edition. This 30-foot Chris craft is powered by two Merc Cruiser inboard motors and Merc Cruiser drives. As you all know by now, it's a familiar boat but with a new owner. This boat is now owned by Barnhart, Don Altieri, Mario Leonelli, and Tom Palmiato. This boat is being driven today by Bill Barnhart, and John Salson is on throttles. Just recently, Barnhart took a first in New Haven under the USPBA race that was run there this past summer. It was a strong boat for D'Elia over all those years. Who can forget some of those memorable races that he had in this boat? And now Bill Barnhart and the rest of his associates hope to pick up the winning tradition in this boat special edition. They certainly hope to campaign it in the championship status that it is accustomed to. From Freeport, New York, it's Bill Barnhart and John Salson in the special edition race team. Right now, Special Edition is enjoying a very good run. And just as in the past, when it dueled so admirably with Jim Lasnowski's Extractor race team, that duel continues on now with Extractor and Special Edition here today. Dueling it out once again. Special Edition with a slight lead over Extractor at this point in the race. Now we come up on B24, the Hustler boat. There's a 32-foot Hustler powered by twin Ritchie Zool motors. This boat is owned by John Gregorio of Linden, New Jersey. He's doing the driving, and on throttles he's got George McMeehan, and Al Malaza is his navigator, all from the New Jersey area. Hustler just recently took a second place in Rochester. A large part of this can be attributed to the great work that Richie Zool has done in diagnosing the previous motors and helping out with the brand new motors that they ran with in Rochester. This resulted in a second place finish for them. Hustler, feeling very confident with the Zool motors, are sticking with them and they're running with them here today in Freeport. They're certainly holding the pace with Fever right now. They're dueling with Joe Scro's Fever Race Team and Kamikaze in the exciting B division. These Zool motors are really doing the job. It's been a great marriage with Gregorio and Zool, who've really formed a good partnership in helping out this race crew. Hustler Marine having a very fine run here today in Freeport, and McMeehan is doing a great job on the throttles. The Zool motors are responding to McMeehan's commands. Gregorio doing a great job as driving, and Malaza doing the job that he must do to be competitive as the navigator here today. The Hustler Race Team. I'd like to extend a special thanks to the crew and everyone at Hustler. Very fine run here for Hustler Marine right now. Hustler Race Team looking very competitive. Earlier on, Joey and Pressure from East Coast Marine had a chance to catch up with John Gregorio and get his thoughts on today's race.
What's going to go on today, John? And how's the boat and everything all set up? You ready to race or what?
Yeah, the boat's running real good. We got some tough competition out there with Fever and Alliance and Shockwave, but we feel we got everybody covered out there today. And I think Joey, the two Joes from Fever, are going to give us a hard time. There's some real tough competition. I think we got everybody else covered pretty well, though.
The Fever boys keep getting mentioned like they're the dominating power in the class. What gives them the advantage versus your boat? Why doesn't your boat have the advantage?
Well, I think they got a couple years experience. The crew's been together a long time. They got the boat dialed in real nice. And I think it's just experience over what we have right now. This is the second year for us, and we're learning, and they're giving us a hand, helping us out, and we really appreciate what they're doing for us.
Well, you got a bigger boat. It's a 32-foot Hustler, correct? Right. They've got a smaller boat. We've got offshore conditions. This should give you an advantage, correct?
Correct. If we get some rough water out there, we might be able to give them a good fight out there. We're going to go out there and give it hell today.
I wish you guys the best of luck, and let's give those Fever boys a good race. Thanks very much.
Sure will. Thanks, Joey.
Now we come up on P15, the boat known as Concrete Cat. This is a 33-foot Hydrotech powered by 3 Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and driven by Ray Bud Tresh from Mullica Hills, New Jersey. On throttles today, he's got Doug Lewis, and Mitch Brodkin is his navigator. Concrete Cat enjoying a very good run in the production class this year. They've taken a first at Newburyport and a first most recently at Rochester, so they would love to repeat here today and really put themselves in a commanding position in the P class. However, it won't be easy. They'll be dueling with Team Hydra, Ocean Outboard, and Euro Marine Special, who will provide some very competitive competition today for this boat. Concrete Cat having a very fine run, as you can see, and they're trying to chase down Ocean Outboard, who's presently in first place, and Euro Marine Special, a new boat on the circuit right now, is creeping into third place in class. In other classes, classic battles still raging on. Special Edition and Extractor and UIM2 are slugging it out. In A class, second to none, MRD and Corvette Plus going all at it. Fever and Hustler going neck and neck in B with Kamikazes, trying to hang in there in third place with that group. Finish Line Pipeline Harrods too close to call. So it's some very competitive racing right now at this point in the race here in Freeport. Concrete Cat looking very strong right now in their attempt to track down Ocean Outboard. That's Pipeline Express charging very hard and overtaking Concrete Cat on the outside. Pipeline Express is in a duel with Finish Line in the C class. Now we come up on P16, Euro Marine Special. This sleek 30-foot Chris Cat is powered by 3 Mercury outboard motors with 265 horsepower apiece. This boat is owned and throttled by Tommy Caruso of Mamaroneck, New York. Charlie Jelnick is your driver, and the crew members who have done a great job for Euro Marine Special is the executive of wiring and rigging, Jeff DiMartino, Rich, and Dave Trump, who have all done a fine job in helping out the Euro Marine Special crew. This boat is sponsored by Euro Marine Yachts Limited and Total Yacht Sales of Mamaroneck, New York. The Euro Marine Special having a very fine run right now. They're in a very tight duel with Concrete Cat and Ocean Outboard. But Euro Marine Special, with a lot of experience coming out of the Total Yacht Sales area from Mamaroneck, have a lot of experience and certainly a lot of technology that they test out here in the open race course. And with the addition of Jeff DiMartino and the rest of the crew, they've really started to come together in getting this boat prepared for Freeport. So we hope they enjoy a very fine run as they have up to this point in the race, and hopefully they can hang in there and take one of the top 3 finishes in P class. It would certainly be a great start for the Euro Marine Special here in the '89 campaign. We wish them all the best from Freeport, New York. It's Euro Marine Special. So you get an idea of some of the rough conditions that these boats are up against today. But Euromarine Special hanging very tough right now as it propels themselves through this choppy water. And here you have Finish Line coming up on the inside to attack Euromarine Special. Different class racing boats, so it's certainly not a problem. But Finish Line in the hunt with Pipeline Express, who you saw earlier on. The hard-charging Finish Line right there coming up on Euromarine Special. But Euromarine Special running very strong itself. Good work on the throttles by these two competitors. Now we come up on boat number 5, the Phoenix Race Team. This is a 32-foot superboat cat powered by 4 Mercury outboard motors with 2.4 liters apiece. They took a first in Bridgeport and a second in New Haven in the USPBA circuit. This boat is owned by Ed Ryan, who is also doing the throttles, and Richard Bonanno is your driver. Ed is the president of the USPBA, which is the East Coast Association of a circuit that is campaigning this year in '89 and enjoying some great success throughout the local waters here in Long Island. Phoenix today is entered in the similar category as Stuart Hames Recovery. They call it the Grand Prix circuit, and they qualify as local boats. So you've got Recovery, who you saw earlier on, Phoenix Race Team right here, and Mad Mac, who we have not seen yet in today's race. But Phoenix is a strong running boat, as you can see. The Superboat Cat is a great running boat. Joey and Pressure uses this hull, as does James Losnowski of Extractor. So it's certainly a proven race boat, and this has 4 Mercury outboards, which provide quite a bit of power for the Phoenix Race Team. From Freeport, New York, it's Ed Ryan's Phoenix Race Team. The contributing factor behind Phoenix Race Team also, and I'm sure Ed would be one to admit it, is the great support and rigging that Joey and Pressure's East Coast Marine does to prepare the Phoenix race boat. They're enjoying a very fine run here today. They've had a relatively successful '89, and we wish them all the best here in Freeport. Now we come up on the ATEC Special Race Team. This sleek, all-yellow, 37-foot Scorpion is powered by 3 small block Mercury inboards. The boat D12 is owned and throttled by Gene Janko, and his son is doing the driving today, the ATEC Special Race Team. They're running in D class, and it's a very competitive class. On the outside of ATEC Special, that is the Phoenix race team, who we just saw earlier on. Phoenix going by on the outside. Different classes, so certainly not a problem for either boat. Janko really has his work cut out for them as he duels with WD Marine, Boat Shopper. Lethal Weapon is there. The Eliminator. American Express, and some other boats. Going to be very tough racing here today, but Janko is looking very strong right now. We are coming to the latter stages of the race, so here's at the time when the boats are still running. It's time to put those throttles down and really make a move if you're going to do it. So Janko knows what he has to do, and he's going all out right now. From Freeport, New York, D12, the ATEC Special Race Team. And on the outside, that's Phoenix Race Team, still running competitive, and they're presently in second place in the Grand Prix division of today's race. Now we come up on B92, the American Dream Race Team. This 27-foot blue and white Magnum race hull is powered by twin 400 horsepower Volvo inboard motors with Volvo Penta drives. This boat is owned, driven, and navigated by Ralph Bernard from Freeport, New York, and on throttles today he's got Ted Abramson. They're running in the B division, and it's very tough right now in B, as you know. Fever, Hustler, Kamikaze, to name a few, are really running strong in that division. However, American Dream seems to be hanging with the middle pack of boats. Hustler, who you saw earlier on, Yes Express, just to name a few, are in this competitive B division, as well as some of your lead pack boats. This boat is sponsored by Tri-Brother Tires of Central Islip, Hillslide Acura in Bayshore, and of course, Ralph Bernard's American Dream limo service has the longest limo in the entire New York area, and he also operates luxury buses. That limo does have the hot tub, so for all you enthusiasts who like to relax in a tub while you drive, American Dream Limos is for you. But right now the story is Ralph Bernard's American Dream race boat. He's in the middle pack of boats, as we said earlier on. The boat seems to be slightly down in power. We hope it's nothing serious. But with the rough conditions, they seem to be very comfortable in the boat at the present time. From Freeport, New York, it's Ralph Bernard's American Dream Race Team. That's Ocean Outboard and Hydro Hoist coming under the freeze frame video helicopter. Lou, our pilot, doing an excellent job in picking up on that angle. And right now we're going to pick up on Hydro Hoist Racing. Hydro Hoist, it's a 30-foot Chris Cat powered by three 2.4 EFI Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Ed Riley, Joe Riley, and Doug Carmen. Ed Riley does the driving, Doug Carmen on throttles, Joe Riley is your navigator, and John Coughlin is your head crew member. They've enjoyed a third-place finish in Point Pleasant already this year, and they'd love nothing more than to prove upon that finish here today to help them out in the point standings in class. This is Hydro Hoist's second year on the circuit with this boat. They enjoyed a relatively successful 88, and as we said, they definitely want to improve upon their 89 finishes. The combination of Ed and Joe Riley and Doug Carmen, with all their experience, lend a lot of credibility to this race team. They certainly hope to have a good run today. Ed Riley's done such a strong job with the overall Hydro Hoist race team. Not only due to his financial support, there's so many endless hours of wrench twisting that he does in preparing this boat. WD, who's involved with this boat, is the largest Hydro Hoist distributor in the Northeast. And they would like to extend a special thanks to Joey Imprescia and George Peterson of East Coast Marine for helping them put this boat back together after a very rough race last year. That's Predator going by on the inside. These boats are in the same class, and that was a very strong move by Predator's part. As I said earlier on, they are starting to head toward the closing stages of this race, and if you're going to make a move, it's time to start making it, and Predator has certainly picked up on that, and they've overtaken Hydro Hoist at this point in the race. But Carmen and Riley hang real tough in Hydro Hoist race team right there with WD Marine on the side. It's WD Marine's Hydro Hoist race team, headed up by Ed Riley, having a very strong run here in Freeport. Now we come up on P75, the Ocean Outboard race team. This 32-foot skater catamaran is powered by three 240 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Anthony Caligari of Lynbrook, New York. Driving is John Shields from West Sayville, New York, and John is also doing the navigating. The formidable crew of Caligari and Shields making up the Ocean Outboard race team. What more can we say? Ocean has enjoyed so much success over the past several years, and 1989 is sticking true to tradition. They've taken a third place in Marathon, a first place in Fort Myers, and a first place in Point Pleasant already this year. Tony Caligari, what more can we say? He's done it all. Between his marine distributorship that he has with the skaters, which is one of the exclusive skater dealers in the entire New York region. He's done a fine job on the race course. So they've taken all their knowledge from the shop and the research development department, bring it out here on the race course, and enjoy nothing but success. Not only success here on the race course, but with the dealership. Tony Caligari's been very good with Freeze Frame Video, and of course John Denon, who has done a great job in helping out Jeff Girardi, our executive director, who is preparing right now for a return, a comeback. That's correct, for the 1990 season, where Freeze Frame will be back in 1990 with another exciting super boat race boat. So stay tuned for that. And a lot of that has been made possible by the great generosity of Tony Caligari and the wrench twisting that John Denon has provided. But right now the story is Ocean Outboard, and they're true champions. So many years of consistency, 89, as I said, a great year, and right now you're just seeing what they do best. Race along this race course. Tony Caligari and John Shields enjoying another fine run here today in Freeport, New York. They're in a duel with Concrete Cat and Euromarine Special, two boats who you saw earlier on, and unofficially they are holding the lead and of the hard-charging Concrete Cat in second, and Euromarine Special, who is still hanging in there for third place. So with another strong run in Freeport, it's Tony Caligari's Ocean Outboard. A familiar name in racing, B33, the Kamikaze race team. This is Pat Lauer's crew. Today she's got A.D. Maff driving, Robert Lauer, her son, on throttles, and Adrian Osteen is your navigator. Louis Caswell, Tony, and Brian make up the crew. What more can we say? Pat Lauer has been racing for so many years. She's been racing actually since 1983, and she's really provided a lot of excitement for us. And right there, Kamikaze is flying, literally. And they are hanging on in third place right now in B class. This 29-foot Mirage is powered by two Chevy inboard motors. These engines were built by Roger Speed Shop, and she'd like Pat would like to extend a special thanks to her husband Bob for taking care of the business to enable Pat to come out here and race with the Kamikaze race crew. She's really been a great sport and really wonderful, hanging in there for so many years on the race cars. And now she's starting to enjoy some success in 1989. In B class, which is very competitive, she's presently and unofficially running in third place behind Hustler and Fever. So with so many boats in a very competitive division, Pat's crew on Kamikaze is enjoying a great day of racing here in Freeport. The Kamikaze race team. That's Kamikaze heading toward the start-finish boat. They're right now in third place as they head toward the finish line. A great day for the Kamikaze race team, and they have taken third place. Very good run for them today. Congratulations to the Lauer crew. Now we come up on D17, the boat known as Eliminator. This is a 27-foot Eliminator powered by 2 Johnson outboard motors. This boat is driven by Al Rulo from Lake George, New York, and also from Lake George. Joining Al today on throttles is John Fogg. The Eliminator race team having a very good day. D-Class, very tough. They're running with WD Marine Hydro Hoist, Boat Chopper, and themselves right now hanging on for third place. Some of the boats have already finished, obviously, as you've seen Kamikaze cross the line. We're right now compiling our final results, but some boats are still out on the course and charging hard to make their move for the finish line. Eliminator was in a very tough class in D-Class. A lot of contestants there, and they enjoyed a very good run to hang tough unofficially in third place if everything remains as it is right now as they head toward the finish line. Those 300 horsepower Johnson V8 sound very strong right now. Great sounding motors right here, and they've done a fine job in propelling Eliminator to a strong showing here today in Freeport. Well, right now we're going to stay with Eliminator as they head toward the finish line for today's race. We'll be in the process of compiling our final results, and in just moments we'll be bringing you the final results of the 1989 Freeport Grand Prix.